Before there was earth, before there was sky, before there was time itself, there was nothing, not darkness, not silence, because even these are something. No stars, no wind, no thought, no memory, just the hollow vastness of chaos. Chaos, the yawning chasm, the formless abyss. It was not lonely, for loneliness had not yet been born. It was not waiting, for there was nothing yet to wait for. It simply was. But within the abyss, something stirred. A ripple, a shift, the first tremor of creation. From chaos, the first form was born. Gaia, the earth. She did not emerge all at once, nor did she appear like a spark in the dark. No, Gaia rose like the slow unfolding of a dream, a shape taking form where there had only been void. Soft at first, a whisper of stone and soil, then stronger, a presence that filled the chasm. The first mother, the first home, the foundation upon which all things would come to rest. Gaia stretched herself wide, forming hills and valleys, oceans and caverns. She breathed, and the air above her thickened. She was alone, and so, in the depths of the abyss, Gaia willed forth a companion. Tartarus, the great abyss beneath the world, deeper than any mortal mind could fathom. He opened his maw wide, swallowing even the silence itself. He would be the pit, the place where all things heavy and terrible would sink to. And then, arrows. Not the arrows of longing, nor the playful trickster who would one day wield a bow. No, this was the first arrows, the force of life, desire, connection, the pull that draws one thing to another, so that the void may never again remain empty. And so, the first three stood together, Gaia, Tartarus, and Eros. The earth, the abyss, and the force that binds all things. But Gaia was still alone upon her surface, and so, from chaos, more forms emerged. Nyx, the night, silent and eternal, wrapping the world in a cloak of darkness. And from Nyx came Hemra, the day, golden and bright, chasing her mother from the sky so that light could kiss the land. They danced in eternal motion, one fading, the other rising, never touching, never still. And so time began, and then Gaia, ever the mother, wished for children of her own. And so from herself, She bore Uranus, the sky, vast and endless, stretching above her, cloaking her in blue. His breath was the wind, his body the firmament. She loved him, and he her, and so from their union the Titans were born. 12 they were, each as mighty as the land itself. Oceanus, the river that encircles the world. Hyperion, the sun's golden fire. Theia, mother of the moon's silver light. And Kronos, the one who would defy the heavens. And so the world took shape, the sky above, the earth below, the rivers winding, the sun and moon in their courses. But not all was peaceful in this newborn world. For Uranus, fearing the might of his children, sought to keep them from rising. He bound them deep within Gaia's belly, refusing to let them roam free. And so the mother of all things felt their pain. The Titans were strong, vast as mountains, boundless as the sea. But they were not free. For Uranus the sky feared them. He saw their power, their hunger, their will to shape the world. And so he buried them deep beneath the earth, pressed them down, forced them into the dark womb of Gaia. They fought against their prison. They howled in the dark, their voices rising like earthquakes, like storms. Gaia heard them, and her heart ached. She whispered to them in the dark, her voice threading through the soil, promising them a way to rise. And among them, one answered, Kronos. Gaia placed upon his hands a gift, a sickle, sharp as the first dawn, forged from the bones of the earth itself. When Uranus descends, she said, strike him down, end his reign, take what is yours. Night fell, and the sky, unknowing, wrapped the earth in his vast embrace, his lightless arms stretching wide. But in the shadows, Kronos waited. And when Uranus lay upon the earth, when his presence filled the land, Kronos rose, and with one stroke, he unmade his father. The sky was torn from the earth, never again to rest upon her breast, and from the womb that spilled forth, a new darkness was born. From the blood of Uranus, the Furies, the daughters of vengeance, they would walk the earth forever, hunting those who spill the blood of kin. And from that same wound, the giants were born, as tall as the tallest trees, strong as stone, their voices rolling like thunder across the land. But Kronos Kronos cared not for them. He had won. He was king now. And so he cast aside the blade and sat upon the throne of the world. His reign began, and for a time all seemed still. Kronos ruled, and he took his sister Rhea as his queen, and together they bore children. First, Hestia, goddess of the hearth, then Demeter, the mother of the fields, then Hera, queen of the heavens, Hades, lord of the unseen, and Poseidon, master of the sea. And there was a whisper in the dark, a shadow that followed Kronos' every step, a prophecy, one that spoke of a son born of his own blood who would rise against him, just as he had risen against his father, Kronos. Now king knew fear, and so he acted. One by one, as each of his children were born, he swallowed them whole. He thought himself clever, he thought himself safe, but fate does not so easily forget, and neither does a mother's heart. And so when the time came for her last child to be born, Rhea could bear it no longer. She would not lose this one. She would not let him be swallowed like the rest. And so, on a night heavy with silence, she crept away, deep into the caves of Crete. And there, hidden from the eyes of her husband, she bore a son, Zeus. She swaddled him in cloth and placed him in a cradle of stone, and in his place she wrapped a rock in a blanket and placed it in Kronos' hands. The Titan, blind with fear, took it without question and swallowed it whole. Zeus was safe, but not forever. His time would come. And so, with time, the child of prophecy grew, hidden from the world, fed with honey and goat's milk, his laughter echoing in the caves where no ear could hear. And the world was still for a time, the storm not yet broken, but fate had set its path, and one day the boy who had been spared would return, and one day the sky would tremble, the sea would rise, and the heavens would break open with war. And so, far from the eyes of the Titans, beyond the reach of his father's hunger, the child lay hidden. Rhea, the mother who defied a king, had placed him in the arms of the earth itself, deep within a secret cave, where stone walls rose around him like a fortress and darkness kept him safe. This was no ordinary place. This was Crete, an island cradled by the sea, where the hands of gods and mortals would one day shape the world's fate. And here, beneath the roots of Mount Ida, the child Zeus, was raised in the shadows of fate. His mother did not leave him alone. No mother leaves her child to grow untended. And so, she entrusted him to the nymphs, daughters of the mountain, whose hands were soft as morning mist, and whose voices hummed like the wind through cypress trees. There was one among his caretakers whose name would never be forgotten, Amalthea, the goat whose milk filled the child's belly, whose warmth wrapped around him like the light of the hidden sun. She was no ordinary goat. Her horns curled like rivers of gold. Her coat shone like woven starlight, and from her milk the child grew strong. Yet he did not know the weight of his name. He did not know that he was to be a king, but the strength of the heavens curled within his small hands, and fate whispered in the beat of his heart. And when the time came, the earth itself honored her. Amalthea, the nurse of the king of the gods, would not be forgotten. From one of her horns, a gift was born, the cornucopia, the horn of plenty, a vessel from which all nourishment would flow without end. It would remain in the world long after her, a token of the one who nursed our God.